And good afternoon. Welcome to AM Language. Welcome to AM Language. It's 4 o'clock. It's the afternoon with me, Richie. I hope you're having a great day today. And if Irina F, hello, welcome to today's lesson. Thank you for joining. As always, whether you're watching live or watching later, please follow the lesson in the live chat section. And whenever you have questions, please come in and ask. The great thing about live lessons is the fact that there is this teacher and student interaction, which makes all the difference as well. So it is a Tuesday, and we are now entering the late October. So the weather is changing, autumn is here, and winter, we can begin to think about winter as well. In today's lesson, we are going to look at writing skills. And we're going to look at something called conjunction words. Conjunction words are words that we can use to link different parts of a sentence together. And these are important. This is an important skill in writing, because this is how you achieve something called coherence. I'll say it again. Coherence. Okay. Now, coherence is an important thing. Whether you are speaking or writing, because coherence is a question of how easy it is for someone else to understand what you are saying, what you are writing. Can the listener or reader follow you and understand? And this is why linkers are important. So that is going to be the topic of today's lesson. This is going to be appropriate for all levels, pretty much. If you're elementary or up intermediate, all are welcome, because this, the words I'm going to use today, at least 1 to 2 of them, you should all know how to use and to use correctly. If you are watching later, feel free, you can fast forward a little bit. We don't usually get into the actual lesson before 5 minutes in. I need to make sure that I turn my mobile phone off, as well, not off, but just on silent. Otherwise, it's going to be a bit distracting. There we go. So that's now on silence. We'll wait just a little bit longer for some more people to join us, and then we shall begin. Don't forget, guys, please make sure that you like and share the video and share it with people. We're now up to 480 subscribers. We are getting very, very close now to the 500 mark. And personal aim would be, can we get to 500 subscribers by the end of October, beginning of November? That would be a great achievement. These lessons started as the result of COVID and the lockdown, the initial lockdown, and we've been running these lessons ever since. We know that it's difficult these days to actually attend a physical lesson, but so we've got this option at the moment. But I would always say, guys, that the thing about learning English in Malta is always about the physical experience of being on the island, actually being able to socialize with new people from different parts of the world, all there to learn English. And on top of that, it's a beautiful island. It's a really good island, actually, for the outdoor lifestyle. If you like the sea, if you like walking, if you like the outdoor lifestyle, it's a great island for it. especially if you know where to go. Alida, good afternoon. Thank you for joining, and buenos dias from where you are in the world, in Patagonia. Um, so we're about 5 minutes in, so we'll make a start, and we'll look to see how we can use some linkers properly, and occasionally there might be sort of either or. If you do have any questions, if you have if you know some linkers as well, but you're not too sure how to use them, that's fine. Please ask. That's always it's always good to ask. It's actually very important that we do engage in this discussion, and ask, because that's how we can learn together as well. Okay. What I'll do is, I think, what we'll do is, I think we'll start off just seeing what you guys naturally come up with. I think that's an important thing. See how um, see how you guys, what you naturally go with, and so forth. So we're going to start off with something nice and simple, nice and easy, and we'll gradually build on it. So the first one I'm going to start off with is one that I think all of you will know. Okay, and that is because. Now, as we know, because explains why. Now, the thing about because is that because is not the only option we have on the table. There are other options to use because, and within a sentence, we don't always want to use because. I would also say this, and I just going to start off with a question. Should you ever use because at the start of a sentence? So let me know what you think about that. Should you ever use because at the start of a sentence? Let me know what you think. Do you think it is? Do you think so? Alida says no, and you are correct. Yes. No, you shouldn't. You are correct, Alida. Irina F also agrees that it's a no. No, you shouldn't. This is bad. It's a bit like saying, should you start a sentence with and? Um, you can find some examples, but really and truly, no. You should avoid it. If you were ever going to go with because at the start of the sentence, you would have to use something like this is because. You can't start the sentence with because, but you can use it. Um, yes, it's one of those weird ones whereby it's not that you can't use it because the meaning is going to be lost. It's more to do with writing good English. And if you want to write good English on top of being understood, we want to avoid starting a sentence with because, as much as we want to try and avoid starting a sentence with and, because there are always alternatives. So let's look at some alternatives for because. Because of, Alida says, because of the bad weather, we stayed at home. Is it okay? Now, in a context like that, let's say it's a text message. Yes, that's fine. That's fine. If it's informal English, if it's a text message, that is fine. If you're writing anything semi-formal or formal, then you should avoid it. For instance, if you are writing a report, you should try and avoid it. However, you have touched on one type of way of doing it, whereby it's not considered to be too bad. Because of the bad weather, we stayed at home. It's passable. It's passable. I don't think that's all that bad. Um, but there are some alternatives, and the first alternative I'm going to go with is let's see. I'm going to write three sentences. Two are correct, one is incorrect. Let's see what you guys think. So, okay, so this is going to be A, B, and C. So, question, which two can you use instead of because? Something is missing in A. We want to go to the, club. Meant to be club, Alida. We wanted to go to the club as it was her birthday. We wanted to go to the club since it was her birthday. We wanted to go to the club, so it was her birthday. Which which two are synonyms of because? Alida says C is incorrect. Arena F or anyone else watching, do you agree? Do you think yes, Arena F? Okay, so you both agree C is incorrect. Excellent, good. Now, why do I say um, going back to what I previously said, here we can see that we're using as and since, and we're using it in the middle of the sentence. What I would say here is, and this is a writing style that I would encourage. This is another reason why you don't need to start your sentence with because if you want to explain why. It's because you've got as and since. And as and since work probably very well. You can start your it's not a problem to start your sentence with as or since. So, since it was her birthday, we went to the club. We went to the club. As it was her birthday, we went to the club. Notice we have to put a comma in there. Now, could you say because it was her birthday, we went to the club? Yes, it has the same meaning. However, I would encourage, from a writing style perspective, go with since or as when using it at the start of a sentence. The other thing as well is sometimes with as or since, um, just like because, you can also use it in the middle of the sentence. So these are two good alternatives. There is another alternative as well that we can use, which is due to as well. Due to the, but this is very formal, and I should put this in. Okay, due to is formal. Okay, so due to the weather, we stayed at home. We stayed at home due to the weather. Okay. Now, due to is a little bit more formal, and I would encourage you to make sure that you use it in a formal way, but you can, again, it's another good alternative to because. So, what does this mean? It means if you're writing a sentence and it's maybe a bit of a long sentence, but there's two, you want to explain why more than once, or for that matter, within a slightly, a few sentences together, we should try and avoid using because. We've got at least four other options. So let's see how you guys do with this. Okay. Considering, says Alida. No. Considering is not going to be a direct synonym of because. Um, you can work it into a sentence. I don't. No, I wouldn't necessarily use it as a direct synonym. Let's see. Can I work this one in? Although, having said that, we can use it in a similar way, because you could say, considering the weather, let's stay at home. So, you know what? I'm going to change my answer. Alida, I think there are certain occasions now in my mind that I can think of when you could use considering. Um, so yes, you can run with it. You can definitely run with considering. Um, the only thing I would say about the word considering is that we have to be a bit careful how we use it, because considering can be a preposition, it can be a conjunction, and it can be an adverb. So in the right context, it can be used as a synonym actually for because, but not all the time. Because, like I said, it can be a preposition, it can be a conjunction, and it can be an adverb. So we've got to be careful. So, right, let's see how you guys do with this. Okay, let's see how you guys do. You've got two sentences here. Try and complete these two sentences without using because. Try and complete these two sentences without using because. And you can only use one word once. So you can't go since, for instance. You can't say since three times. You can only use one of them. If you do want to use considering, you can do. That's absolutely fine. So Alida's come in with, since the weather was bad, we stayed at home as it was Christmas. We also needed to eat the food, considering we had bought a lot and it was going to go out of date. I used considering. Yes, you did, but you used it correctly. We could use considering in that situation. It takes on the conjunction form of its word uh, rather than an adverb. For example, Sergio says, "Due to the weather was bad. Due to the weather was bad. We stayed at home as it was Christmas. We also needed to eat the food since we had bought a lot." Now, I'm going to say that that is nearly correct. There's just one, and it's to do with due to. Now, I didn't explain this, but I probably should have. Um, and it's this, okay? We've got two ways of doing this. Due to the weather, comma, we stayed at home. This first round of using it, due to the weather, I'm stopping at weather because the due to automatically tells us that the weather is going to be, it tells us that the weather is either good or bad, depending on the rest of the sentence. If we want to qualify that the weather is bad, for example, so we want to add in the adjective, then we're going to have to do something. Due to the weather being bad, we stayed at home. So this is a little rule that you guys can think of using. Now I'm going to look at it just in the sense of if you're going to use due to, let's say at the start of a sentence. If you're just going, you can go with due to plus subject, comma. Okay, the subject of your sentence and of what's going to be the sentence. Or let's change that to topic. Actually, I'm going to change it to topic because you would use due to introduce the topic. So you could go with that, or due to plus topic plus something like being plus adjective. So for another example, due to my boss being late, X, Y, and Z. Due to my boss, X, Y, and Z. So that's something that we do need to think about when using due to. So I would say, actually, let's go again. And this time you're going to have to use due to at some point. Let's have a little look. Actually, I should add this as well. It does work in the middle of the sentence. So, for instance, if I wrote, okay. Option 1, we stayed at home due to the weather. I don't need to say the weather's bad. The context suggests that the weather's bad. But if I do want to say the weather's bad, then I have to do the same thing. Stayed at home. We stayed at home due to the weather being bad. So there you go. There you have it. A little thing about how to use due to properly. I'll tell you what, because there's two other ones I do want to look at. I've just seen the time. So remember this one. So if you have a pen and paper, just write a note just write a note. Write this rule down because later on in the lesson, we can finish off with an activity where one of the options will include due to. Okay. So let's move on to the next one. And the next one that we're going to look at is this strange one. And the reason why I say strange is because it is a little bit strange. Though I do not usually drink coffee, I have had 2 cups today. You've got this strange word, though. Again, we can use it at the end of the sentence as well. We can use it to say, well, we can use it in the middle of the sentence as well, such as this. I do not usually drink coffee, though I've had 2 cups today. So we can use it like that. We can also use it. Can use it at the end of the sentence as well. For instance, such as this. If I can find it, there we go. This is a appropriate one. I already ate. Thanks, though. Okay. So we've got this strange word, though, that we can use at the start, middle, and the end of the sentence. Now, this is one whereby it looks very similar to thought. It is not thought, and the vowel sound is different. This is an O sound like phone, not like or. So we do have to be careful. Now, what does though actually mean? Well, though has a couple of meanings. Um, so the best way to go about it, I would say, the first option you should know is that it has a similar meaning to but or however, such as if you took, let's say, and the second option is despite of. Okay. Um, Now, despite of is quite a good bit of language. It says because of something, something else happened. So I'm going to give you an example. Okay. If you take the first sentence again, though I do not usually drink coffee, we can replace though with despite. Um, but we have to change other things. Despite the fact I do not. Okay. So it means that action one, in this case, though I do not usually drink coffee. So we're saying action one does not normally happen, but today I have had 2 cups of coffee. So it's explaining that yes, action one normally happens, but today action two happened, for example. And it's the same if we use it in the middle of the sentence. Now, in the middle of the sentence here, I do not usually drink coffee. Again, this, when we use it in the middle of a sentence, this probably takes on more of a case like, but I've had 2 cups of coffee today. So what we can see here is that we've got 2 opposite actions. And that's a very important thing. When you use though, you're going to talk about 2 opposite actions. Though plus 2 opposite actions. And that's the way to think about it. Though plus 2 opposite actions. So we've got, oh, sorry, I wrote tough, sorry. That's wrong. That's meant to be though. That's a different word entirely. Okay, so some more examples. Though I like curry, I had pizza, for example. I like pizza, though I ordered a curry. I like pizza, though I ordered curry today, for example. That's another way of using it. And I didn't even know that was, yeah, we can use it like that. We'll start off by doing this. So let's see how you guys do. Okay. So where does though, I'm going to leave this with you. Okay. I'm going to write an incomplete sentence and you guys need to put the words in order and you need to decide where you're going to put though. So if I write, I curry like, I had pizza you would then write the answer, such as, though I like curry, I had pizza. I like curry. Yep, we'll go with that. So that would be an example for the first answer over here. Oh, one other way of using it at the end of a sentence. It's in like a question. So person A, I thought you liked curry, though. Person B, normally yes, but today I didn't feel like having it. Okay, so you can use it at the end, like though, like a check. But I thought you like curry though. Uh, don't you? In this case, don't you? It's like a question. It's a check question. Um, it's a question. It's a way to check whether the information you have about someone is correct. So we can use it in different ways. So let's have a go. See what you come up with. Okay. So A. Put the words in order with though as well. Okay. B. B and C. Okay, so you've got three sentences there. Let's see if you guys can complete it, putting though into the correct um, order. The first one, if you put, no, I don't want to say anything too much. I'll see what you guys come out with. Um, but yeah, though is a strange one, but it's a really good one to know. And then judging by the time, I'm not sure if I'm going to have enough time to get on to whereas. If I think there might be just enough time to look at whereas. Um, which is a good one to know. So let's see what you guys come out with. To give more examples, I thought it was raining though. I thought it was raining though. So if you use though at the end of the sentence there, you're checking. And that's the thing about, you could use it like that. I thought it was checking though. I thought it was raining though. So you can use it at the end of the sentence. Though they though they married, they never went on a honeymoon. Um, I love Manchester United, though I didn't watch them last night, for example. So you've got lots of ways of using them. So A, I didn't know him though. Yep, that looks good. Though he was late, they will still make the meeting on time. And usually I don't order tea. I ordered it today, though. Yeah, I mean, look, you can use it like that for number C. What I would say for number C, your other option would be, I don't usually order tea, though I ordered it today. So that's the other option that you could use for number C. By the way, on the subject of adverbs, I don't usually, either or is the answer. But I would encourage that if you look in a lot of books, they do like to emphasize that if you are going to go with did or don't, you should probably think about you putting your adverb of frequency after the did or don't rather than before. It's not the same as it's not the same as when you're looking at your main verb of your sentence. That's why. So it's the same sort of thing as when you use a modal verb. You'd put your adverb of frequency after it. Okay, guys. So let's move on to whereas. Otherwise, we're going to run out of time, and I'll do whereas quite quickly. Very simply, whereas is an alternative to but. However, you need to compare two things that are different in some way. Okay, for example, whereas Ireland is cold, Malta is hot, for example. So I'm comparing two countries. So it's the same category of topic, countries, but I'm saying that this is the difference. Again, I could say Ireland is cold. Ireland is cold, whereas Malta is hot. I can simply compare two things. Same topic, but something about these two topics are different. That's how we can use it. So let's see how you guys get on with this. Same sort of exercise as before, and then we'll go into the last one. Okay, so so, for example, if I write A, she tall, her taller, he taller, whereas Sergio says second one makes more sense. Fair enough, if that makes a little bit more sense, but they have the same meaning. You would then write, she is tall. You would say, whereas she is tall, he is even taller, for example. Whereas she is tall, he is even taller. So that's just another example. Now, let's go into this activity. Time, I'm only going to give you one I'm only going to give you one question because I do want to go into that final activity where we've got to try and complete a sentence with some of the things we've looked at today. Tell me how you could complete this. You've got she married, Jane didn't marry, and you need to fit whereas. You could use whereas at the start or in the middle. Let's see what you guys do. And then we'll move into the last one where you're going to have to try and put all the different things that we looked at today. We need to complete the final sort of sentences. And we'll see how we get on. So Alida says, where is she married? Jane didn't marry. Yeah, that would be a perfectly good example. So whereas isn't too difficult really to use. It's a good one to know, and it's very helpful. So now let's get into the final activity. Whilst are synonyms. Yeah, the only thing there I would say is while is probably more common in American English, and whilst is more common in British English. However, due to the American influence, these days people tend to use while more than whilst, but both are fine. Whereas, those are Yes, they all are very similar. While, whilst, whereas, they're all very similar. We would use them in the structure of using them is exactly the same as whereas. And the context when we would use while and whilst would also be very similar to whereas. So if you know how to use whereas, you probably would know how to use, you'd have a very good idea of how to use while and whilst. So let's go into the final activity. Okay, guys. Okay, guys. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see what you guys do. Uh, you need to. Okay, so due to, since, whereas for the first one, let's see how that reads. So, due to the weather being bad, we stayed at home since none of the kids wanted to. Um, hmm. John wanted to go because he knew some friends, whereas Jane wanted to sit by the lake. Okay, 1 and 3 are correct. 2 is not going to be because it's not the same meaning. It's a different meaning. We stayed at home, but the kids don't want to stay at home. So we need to think of one of these conjunction words that has a similar meaning to um, however and but or despite of. So we need to think about that. Alida, yes, though. So that's correct. So 1 is due to. 2 is though. 3 is whereas, yes. Now let's look at 4 and 5. Let's see. What do you think about 4 and 5? And then it's time for a cup of tea because I haven't had a cup of tea for a while, actually. So, due to, though, whereas, what do you think about 4 and 5? Sergio, do you want to have a go? Arena F, can you beat a leader to it? And that will then take us to the end of today's lesson. Just to remind you guys, tomorrow, the lesson is going to be grammar sentence building. So that's going to be the lesson for tomorrow, and I do recommend it. That's going to be a very good lesson. As and since, let's see, as it was late, yes. we thought it was better to stay since the kids were upset. Depending on the context, what I would say is if it's a different context, yes. If it's the same context as above, it would have to be though again. So you could say if it's the same, if it's a continuation with the uh, pa- previous sentences, it would have to be as it was late. We thought it was better to stay, though the kids were upset, because that's a continuation of before. If it's a completely different sentence and we don't know the context, to say as it was late, we thought it was better to stay since the kids were upset, that would be okay as well. The only thing is, we wouldn't necessarily need to put a comma. We could just go straight with since. Okay, but in this context, I'm just going to say for is as or since, both would be fine. And five, let's say it continues, in which case it'd be there. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us today. Big thank you to our leader. Very well done today. Thank you, Sergio, for joining. Thank you, Arena F, and anyone else who was watching. Thank you so much for joining today. Make sure you subscribe if you're new and like the video. And I will see you guys tomorrow. So have a great evening. Thanks, Richard. Have a great evening. Take care. You too, Arena F. Thanks, Richard. See you soon. Thank you, Alida. Thank you for joining. Have a wonderful evening. Sergio, you too. Thanks. And take care. See you guys tomorrow. And bye for now.